Hey, come see us on tour in Los Angeles, Dallas, Texas, Austin, Baltimore, Atlantic City, Cohoes, New York, and Providence, Rhode Island. Get your tickets at jimmydore.com. That's where they're the most affordable. So Scott Adams, who I dunked on pretty hard on Twitter last week and ratioed him.
Why?
He does do a good. He was talking about ivermectin and cancer, and I reminded him how wrong he was about the vaccine and COVID. But anyway,
you win.
No big deal. But he writes funny cartoons.
Yeah.
So he says Democrats proved once again. He called me the dumbest public figure in America.
Well, I mean, you didn't get COVID wrong though, like how he did.
Isn't that weird?
He's got to give you that win though, doesn't he? Remember when Scott said, "White people, you've got to move away from black people."
Remember that?
As if white people didn't already do that since before I was born. I mean, he's a genius.
Democrats proved once again that they are superior to Republicans by passively certifying Hitler to the presidency. It's called a peaceful transfer of power, and it's how Democrats protect democracy. From Hitler? Sounds weird when you say it out loud.
It does. Well, I always bring this up, but remember the time Hitler put on a kippah and kissed the Wailing Wall, like modern Hitler Trump? Like, how do you call such a guy? How do you call a guy the Jewish son-in-law Hitler? And like, how do you even do that?
So the reason why I show you that funny cartoon from Scott Adams, who people call Clot Adams, which I think is funny.
It's funny.
Take your lumps. He won't. He's one of those guys.
Take your clots, clot.
Just like he's very much like Sam Harris. Like they can't ever admit when they're wrong.
Yeah,
and
it's not even political. You could tell his personality is when he's wrong. Like him going, "Okay, you were right. You won." No one won. People got injured from a very faulty product.
Yeah,
Scott. It's not a matter of winning. They actually lost because a lot of them can't afford the health care they need, and they can't sue. So no, very few people won, other than Pfizer.
And anyway, let's get to this. Welcome home. This is Glenn Greenwald. So this is Donald Trump coming to the White House because he's moving in. And there's Jill Biden and Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Welcome home, President Biden, says Donald Trump as he arrives at the White House. Welcome home, Mr. Hitler. Please come in to do your fascism and impose a white supremacist dictatorship. If anyone still believes the Democrats and their corporate media allies believe what they said about Trump, then I don't know what else you need to see. But the mark of a modern politician is that they want you to care about something that they themselves do not care about.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yep.
And
climate change, for example.
And just keep this in mind, Glenn. Biden did give billions of dollars to real Ukrainian Nazis, so I don't see why welcoming fake Hitler is such a big deal.
No, I mean, he doesn't even rank as good as the Nazis that we gave all of our money to.
That's right. So watch this. So here it is. Here comes Hitler to usher in his dictatorship and his rule of white supremacy. And look what Joe Biden and Jill Biden do. Here comes Hitler, literal Hitler. He's never going to leave office. He's going to be a dictator. Look at that. That's how you welcome Hitler. Really. And so I don't know if you saw, but Joe Biden turned to Jill and asked him if the man stepping out of that car was Joe Biden.
How tall is Joe Biden? Well, that's a fair question because look at how tall he is. Trump's what, 6'3"? Is this the taller Biden?
Is that the fake Biden?
How tall is regular Biden compared to Trump? Because he looks like at least the same height.
How tall is Joe Biden? He's just 6 feet. How tall is Donald Trump? He's 6'3".
Are they standing on different things?
I don't know. Maybe Biden's wearing heels. Boy, he looks a lot taller, doesn't he? He must be wearing lips.
An extraordinary moment to watch the 46th president, Joe Biden, greet The 45th and
Look
now
how
the
tall Joe
47th
Biden
president.
looks.
We haven't seen this
He's
since
wearing
Grover
lifts.
Cleveland.
That's
a
tall
president
Biden.
returning
That's
to the White
tall
House,
Biden.
separated by one term. The first lady.
Look, it's
Joe
not-
Biden looks like he's 6'3". He looks exactly as tall as Trump.
Remember, this has popped up before. Now, I don't know
This
why
has popped
anyone
up
would think
before.
this is far-fetched. Saddam Hussein had doubles, right? So you think America's not going to have that technology of a body double? Seeing as how they covered up the president's brain being gone, and now we know they did for a fact, you think they haven't availed themselves of having somebody dressed with really good masks that they show off all the time online that they make, the CIA? Clearly that's what that is it not?
All I can say is it looks like he's 3 inches taller. That's what's clear. But here is...
How many times has this happened where he suddenly got taller?
This is at least the second time I've seen it.
Yeah, like...
So here's Donald Trump thanking Barack. Remember this? They were at this is again. Remember, this is the guy who's going to be a dictator. He's going to bring white supremacy to America, and he's literal Hitler. And he's never. And democracy's over. Democracy's over. And here's Barack Obama yucking it up with him. And what they're really talking about is Donald Trump is thanking Barack Obama for his advice about fixing his hair.
President Obama there, elected in 2008, served 2 terms, and then yielded there to President Donald Trump.
I thought littler Hitler. Here's when they met at the White House after the election.
Well, Mr. President-elect and former President, thank you. Donald, congratulations. Thank you. And looking forward to having like we said.
Shaking his hand, congratulations. Looking forward to, as we said, a peaceful transition. Why would you have a peaceful transition with literal Hitler, who's going to be a dictator, never leave the White House, end democracy, and bring a white supremacy rule? Why wouldn't you fight that? But why would you be all smiles? Isn't that funny?
Yeah, why would you do funny legal games instead of a real war, since the lessons learned of World War II of not to let literal Hitler take over? Remember that?
Yeah.
All these people are the ones, would you go back in time and kill baby Hitler?
We're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So good. Welcome. Welcome back. And,
welcome.
Thank you very much. And
welcome.
Politics is tough, and it's in many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate it very much. A transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get. And
it'll be so smooth, I can't think of a word.
You're not going to believe how smooth this is.
The only thing real in this picture is the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so there he is welcoming literal Hitler, who's an enemy of our democracy. He's going to end democracy, bring white supremacy rule. He's never going to leave. And so is there a single person in D.C. or the media acting as if literal Adolf Hitler is about to assume power in order to end American democracy, install fascism, and create a white supremacist dictatorship? Is it possible those who said this for years never believed it? Yes, Glenn. Yes. If Trump was really terrible, why did they have to do silly lawfare? Why didn't they just use trained special op killers to handle this? If he's that horrible.
TV SEAL Team 6 that got Bin Laden.
Yeah. I mean, but Glenn, if we demand that politicians actually mean what they say, we'll never hear from them again.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why. Hey, wait a minute. That's actually not a bad idea. Here's Charlamagne the God. This is what he was saying before the election, and then watch what he says right after the election. This is going to be interesting. Watch this.
I think that she should keep calling Donald Trump a fascist. And I think that Americans need to keep looking at the rhetoric of Donald Trump, because I don't know why we're even thinking about electing somebody who's talking about putting people in camps. I don't know why why we want to elect somebody who's talking about mass deportation. I don't know why we're having this conversation about somebody who wants to terminate the Constitution.
Don't y'all find it strange that now that he's won, they're not calling him a threat to democracy? They're not calling him a fascist. I mean, damn, on Monday.
They're not calling him anything.
They can. On Monday, they was just calling him that. I would think that, if you really believe that, then somebody's speech would be about how America effed up and how things are about to be really bad.
He's the most powerful man in the world now.
It just makes you wonder how much of it did they really believe, or how much of it was just politics.
Well, let me answer that for you, Charlamagne. They didn't believe any of it. It was all lies. And because you fell for it, I don't know if you know this, he's now been demoted to Charlamagne, the regional manager. Here he is again.
Donald Trump wins the election. We all know that.
Yeah.
He was in the White House this week, right? Joe Biden literally was like, welcome back, right?
Home, baby.
Okay.
Home, baby.
And
home, baby.
And even in the Vice President Kamala Harris's concession speech, she talked about how, she's there to help the next administration, peaceful transfer of power, all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
So I observed those two things. I observed not just the White House, but then the speech that President Biden gave and the speech the Vice President Kamala Harris gave. And so I asked a simple question. The question I asked was, well, what happened to all the threat of democracy talk? What happened to the talk of him being a fascist?
Mm-hmm.
I literally am speaking about those two people in particular.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say you would think in those speeches that they gave that they would have said, hey, y'all left up America. Things are about to be a bumpy ride for y'all. But it was none of that.
So it was really just boxing.
What do you mean?
They just were promoting a fight. You know how when the fighters talk crazy shit to each other, the second the fight is over, they're hugging each other, kissing each other, taking selfies.
Well, that's the question I asked. Did they really believe those things? And when I say they, I'm talking about Vice President Kamala Harris and President Biden, because, people always take clips and, cut them up.
Of course.
Right? And take them out of context, because I'm speaking in particular about those two individuals and the two speeches they gave. That's why if you listen to the clip, if you listen to it in its full context, I say you would think in their speeches
they would have
mentioned something about him being a threat to democracy in America. Y'all effed up, whatever.
Go. Now, I think you showed some support to the new administration. You were like, hey, we gotta.
Which is not it's support to America. He's the president of the United States.
Say that again. Say that again.
Listen, he's the president of the United States of America.
So before, he was saying this.
I think that she should keep calling Donald Trump a fascist. And I think that Americans need to keep looking at the rhetoric.
And now he's like, well, they didn't mean it.
He goes, I don't know. You don't know yet, Charlamagne? The regional manager? You haven't figured out that they're completely insincere? How did you... When he interviewed Kamala, we showed that interview a long time ago, and she just blathered nonsense to him. You didn't figure it out right then? How is it you didn't figure it out? Are you worried about your circle? That's what I think. Because there's no way he's that dumb. The Breakfast Club and all the things he's on, everybody that's got a job like that, you know how Trump got record black male voters? But what did he not get? Black women, the ones employed by the federal government, overwhelmingly, and then morning radio people that are in with like your Oprahs and Gayle Kings and what have you. Those are the people who have to play dumb. So I think Charlamagne's playing dumb, but I just texted Schultz to ask if he is playing dumb. I want to know genuinely. I don't want to know if he's wearing eyeliner or if he just has beautiful lashes. Charlamagne, the gorgeous eyelashes, more like it.
So again, you've all been duped. Almost all my old comedy friends believe this. That I was a guy who runs an art gallery, a comedian runs an art gallery, said to me, you would think, and he's an artist, and he's hilarious, and he's a brilliant artist, and he said to me before the election, boy, I hope Trump doesn't win. We're all going to end up in camps. What? Where does this?
The only camps I heard about were COVID camps. That's the only camps I ever heard
was when the liberals wanted to put you in a COVID camp. It's just like they just say these. They're just propaganda ingesters, and they vomit it out.
I know the dude you're talking about. I love that dude.
I love him too.
Such a stupid thing to say.
I love that guy, but it's infected all of them. They won't stop watching MSNBC. They won't stop reading the New York Times. They won't stop. Hey, come see us on tour in Los Angeles, Dallas, Texas, Austin, Baltimore, Atlantic City, Cohoes, New York, and Providence, Rhode Island. Get your tickets at jimmydore.com. That's where they're the most affordable.